Hi, I'm Katie, and welcome to my Friends book tag. I'm so excited to do this book tag because Friends is a funny show. And I was tagged by Kate at the Almost Book Doctor, and she's such a cool booktuber, and I highly suggest that you guys check her out because somehow she has time to read and also become a doctor, and that just seems like way too much, so good for her. Anyway, I have the list of questions for the tag, and I had no preparation at all. So I did not think about my answers to any of these, so this will be interesting. So the first question of this tag is F is for friendship. What is a book with strong friendship? And for that, I am going to pick Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. And I think that this is one of the best depictions of friendship that I've read in a while. It follows Ellie, whose cousin was murdered, but it is framed as a car accident, and her family know that there's no way that it was just a regular car accident. And Jay is told about everything going on by Ellie, and he's basically like, okay, how do you need me? What do you need me to do? How can I support you? And he drops everything and goes with her to this random magical town in Texas and helps her solve this murder. And they're just like two best friends on a mission. It's just a friendship between a guy and a girl. There's no hints at a relationship or anything, which I really feel like is cool to see. Just because not everything has to be a romance, especially because Ellie is asexual and there's no feelings between them. It's just pure friendship, and I really love that about this book. So yeah, I highly suggest you read it. If you haven't, it's really good. The next question in the tag is R is for real life. What is your favorite nonfiction book? And I've literally only read one nonfiction book. This just hasn't really been my thing, but I'm looking to expand that. So if you guys do have any recommendations, let me know. But I recently read Bear Boy by Justin Barker, which is an amazing book, kind of like a coming of age book about a young teenager named Justin in California who is told by his dad that he needs to do something during the summer. And at first he's like, I don't want to do anything. Like, what do you mean do something? But then he decides to advocate for animal rights. He becomes a vegetarian. He goes to zoos and advocates for safe treatment of the animals. So when he sees that some animals are being fed like food that aren't meant for them, or they don't have enough space, he brings media attention to the zoos and protests, and he eventually does a really good job with this, and he gains national attention, especially surrounding these two bears named Brutus and Ursula, who are living in a small concrete cage in a park. And he's like, yeah, that's not okay. So he calls the mayor in his own home, is like, dude, you need to do something. This is ridiculous. And he ends up raising over $200,000. And these bears get moved to a better facility and have a better life. And he did all this at like 13 to 15 years old. Like, that's crazy. I didn't do anything at that age. So good for him. It was a really inspiring story. It made me want to like go out into the world and make a difference. And if you are looking for a story like that, I highly suggest Bear Boy. Number 3 is Eyes for Indie. What is an indie book that you love or would like to read? So I'm actually not very familiar with indie books just because I am kind of new to reading. I just haven't really seen them on my radar as much yet. So if you do have any recommendations, please let me know because I am interested. I will be reading Sword of Kragen next month, which I know I have talked about in my last video called 8 fantasy books that I want to read. So I'm not going to go too in depth about what this is about, but I'm very excited to read it. I've heard really good things, and I think there's some sort of like elemental magic-y type of thing. They, I think, have blades of ice and they can do something with the sea. I don't know. That's very vague. I apologize. Like I said, I didn't prepare. So yeah, I'm really excited to read that next month. The next one is E's for Ending. What book has an ending that made you scream? And I know I have talked about this book more than once, but I'm going to say Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Just because this ending really had me like into it. I couldn't put it down, and I don't know if I like physically screamed or anything, but this is the book that got me closest to that point. I mean, obviously I can't really say because that would spoil the book, but if you read it, you know what I mean. So yeah, good book, good ending, good beginning, good middle. Highly recommend. Not its sequel. I really don't like its sequel. I should just pretend that it's only one book and we'll be happy. The next one is E's for Ending. No, that's not the next one. I did that one. The next one is N is for New. What is a new release that you would like to read? That would have to be Tokyo Ever After. And that is about a teenager from California who doesn't know her birth father until she finds out that he is the crown prince of Japan. So she's sent to Japan to learn more about her family and the royal traditions of Japan. And she's struggling because she feels that as someone with Japanese heritage, she was not American enough when she was in America. Now she doesn't feel Japanese enough. So she has to come to terms with her identity and what that means for her. And this sounds very similar to The Princess Diaries, which is one of my favorite movies. So I really want to read this because it just looks really interesting. And I am hoping that I could get my hands on that soon because I want to read it right now. Well, obviously I can't because I don't own it. But soon. D is for Dark. What is a book with dark themes? For that one, I'm going to have to say More Than This by Patrick Ness. This is like a young adult sci-fi, and I can't say too much about the darkness of it without spoiling it, so I'm going to try to be as vague as possible, I guess. But basically, this is about a teenager who dies and comes back to life, and when he comes back to life, he basically wakes up in this like post-apocalyptic world. I can never say that word, but you know what I mean. And the whole world is overcome by like dust, and it's so empty. There's even barely any animals. The weather is very unpredictable. And I can't say what happened to people because that will spoil it. But it's very dark. It doesn't directly mention climate change, but it's very implied. So if you're interested in something like that, kind of like a dystopian type of thing based off things that actually are happening in real life, I would recommend this book. And even besides that, it's a really good book. No one talks about it. It's so good. Please read it. It's good. S is for sharing. Please share this video with others. So I'm going to tag others to do this tag. Maybe I should tag my friends in the friends tag, because that would make sense, right? So my first friend that I'm going to tag is Grace Dion. She's one of my very good friends. I've known her for a while. And if you do not follow her, you should check out her channel because she is the person who peer pressured me into making my own channel. So if you like me, she's even better. So yeah. The next person I'm going to tag is Walker Wright 7, who I've been following on BookTube for a little while now. I feel like I really like his tastes in books, and I'm very interested to see what he does for this tag, if he completes it. And yeah, those are who I'm gonna tag. Thanks for watching. I know this is chaotic. I don't even know what I'm talking about, what I just said. Editing's gonna be fun. And if you did like this video and any other videos that I have made, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week about books and stuff. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!